Hi, this is Brianna Berrigan, and this is my review for social media. Our first assignment kind of focused on what we wanted to accomplish for the month, and I mostly just wanted to work on my Instagram. I think that's going to be the main focal point in my future as well, just because it's the place I'm going to be posting on a daily basis. It's where I'm going to have my brand, and it's ultimately going to be my main source of social media and how I portray myself to the world. So my Pinterest, I'm basically just using as like a giant mood board and a place for inspiration and organization. And my Twitter account, I just started for this class, so I haven't done too much to it, but I do want to kind of change the banner a little bit, make it more personable, and make it look put together more, just because I do know that people will see it, and regardless of whether I care to really promote it is a different story, but people will see it, and I do want everything I post online to be a good representation of myself, and that includes visually as well. So, for the second week, I chose some influencers to look at. They're not your typical influencers, which I really like. There's a lot more to them. I did take some of what Sasha had, where she has a beauty section in hers. I really like her beauty section. However, I kind of am focusing more on inner beauty as well as outer beauty. So hers is more like makeup and things like that, and I want to be more, it's going to be a self care section. So, as someone who's overcome addiction and homelessness, and I go to therapy every week, like, I think that I do have some interesting perspectives and different tools that I want to share with people. So we'll kind of see how that goes. It's kind of just going to be an experiment for me right now. It's not something I'm too attached to, but if it does end up working in my favor, then that's great. Jula has a great way of showing tiny details and making things that are really simple really beautiful, and so I kind of am still trying to find my own way of doing that. So I haven't done too much of that, but I do still really like this about her aesthetic. And for Dana, I still really admire all the work that she's done. She does a lot of what I want to do, so I'm just going to continue to follow her. I'm not too concerned about the Pinterest or the Twitter accounts, honestly. So we'll move on to my content strategy, which I was really interested in the analytics that came along with having an Instagram business account. This all looks pretty normal to me. I wasn't really surprised about this. What I was surprised about, though, was this, and the fact that it was 41% women and 59% men uh, that follow me. So I'm not sure exactly what it is and why that is, but I do know that, especially now, I feel like my Instagram is pretty feminine. I mean, there is a masculine balance that I try to have, but I'm hoping that it's because of my work that I have this percentage of men and women following me. But I do want this number to go up, and I think it will, hopefully, with my new followers, because I will have that self care section that I think more women will be able to relate to. So we'll see about this number going up. It's not really that big of an issue for me. I'm not going to be upset if that doesn't end up being the case and my numbers stay the same or fluctuate just a little bit or whatever. So this is really interesting to me though, and I'm gonna keep paying attention to it because I want to see what posts are starting to attract more male or female people. So there's that. So let's we can just start with my Pinterest. Like I said, it's kind of just a mood board. I'm not too worried about it. I started a hack section because I like hacks, but also I know a lot of people are attracted to that. So that could bring that board in itself and using those hashtags and stuff could bring traffic to my page, which doesn't really matter. It's kind of irrelevant, but it is interesting because I think that I'm like looking at my boards and my pins that I've done recently, and I think my taste level just from even starting this class has developed and grown and gotten better even. So I do see that in my pins, which I like, and I like that I'm able to see that. So I did switch to a business account recently, so we'll see how that goes for me. But it does say I have 5.1 thousand monthly views, which is kind of like a lot. I didn't really think it was that much. I'm going to start paying attention to this number to see if I'm getting more and more views to the more and more things that I post. And I also want to see what gets a lot of views because that can actually help me look to see what's popular right now among my demographic of people who are on Pinterest so that I can kind of see what kind of things to pull for my own work and that maybe future clients are going to want to see in photos that I take of them or videos that I make for them or whatever. So that will be helpful to see those kinds of analytics. My Twitter, like I said, I want to fix this up. I want to add some of my friends and start to kind of actually get followers because right now I only have 2 and I'm only following 12 and I don't know any of the 12 that I'm following. So I am finding out about hashtags and how important they are. And so I'm trying to figure out how to use them in a tasteful way, especially on Instagram. So I'm trying to have this thing where I'm posting the photos that I do post of myself. I want them to be more artistic. I don't want them to just be your basic selfie. Like, those are kind of boring to me. So I try to have something artsy about them, or I want them to bring something to the feed. I want it to add and not just like fill in, if that makes sense. So I have posts like this, that are a little different. I'm still kind of trying to figure out like how to have, because there'll be some parts where I feel like, okay, these are very cohesive. This is pretty cohesive. This pretty cohesive. Okay, like I can see how they all match together, but then you have this, which like you kind of have the pastel colors and then the red and then the black, and so this doesn't look all that cohesive to me. And I have parts like that in my Instagram that I see that are kind of like pockets where they don't all quite fit together, and so I'm kind of trying to figure out. The hardest thing for me is a specific aesthetic because I like things that are dead. For example, I like the darker kind of more morbid things like this, but I also really like puppies and kittens and cute things. And so I think my biggest struggle has been trying to figure out how to make those things come together and fit within one kind of aesthetic. And so I've kind of been struggling with that a little bit. I think that's always been one of my bigger struggles. I think I have a very like soft Instagram, but I also do really like darker things. So I'm trying to pull all that together. I like weird stuff, and I don't know if my Instagram shows that I like weird stuff. I guess there's like stuff like this, but so that's kind of my ultimate social media struggle, and I do think that I'm gonna see myself in my work, and eventually that will prove itself, and people will get to see more of what I'm about. But not having too much consistent work with things, it's kind of difficult for me to just like see a post that I like and then post it, as opposed to like actually creating my own stuff, which I do post what I have as far as like art and stuff goes. But anyway, yeah, so I think I had a good month. I think that it brought attention to a lot of things. Here's that self-care section that I've got going on that I just started. I'd like to post more stuff on there, but right now it's just kind of parts of books that I like or poetry. Just like little things. I wrote this, so I added that to there. Um, Stuff like this. This is like writing stuff that I did. Self-help book stuff. This is architecture of happiness. So, just things like that. And we'll see how that goes. But I am kind of looking forward to that. I do really enjoy those things in my own life. So sharing that will probably show and will probably help. But I really appreciate everyone's feedback this month. And I really look forward to graduation. Good luck, everyone.